you were saying that the model of God that you have is not logically flawed. And I'm saying that I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the truth of it. Because a lot of ideas can be made up, and those ideas will be not logically flawed. And that alone does not say anything about whether the idea is true or not. So that is where we
Right,
were stuck.
and right. And my challenge to you is to justify the no God hypothesis or model, that is, that no God is necessary to explain our existence.
No, no, that is not my position. My position is that there is no reason to think that a God exists. We live in a universe, we know some things about it, and none of the things that we know about it seem to imply that a God is necessary.
Yeah, right. So if you
I'm not
imply
saying,
that,
yeah.
then you immediately you have to stick to the alternative view that no intelligence explains our existence. And I would like you to substantiate this.
My position is that know we don't know almost anything about where we came from. You are the one who's making a claim that God is the reason, and you are not providing any evidence for it. It is not my job to disprove your hypothesis when you have not even given a clear definition of what it is and how it is supposed to work.
Well, I think I gave it to you at our last interaction, where I described a divine being just as eternal, intelligent, powerful, conscious, and able to create our universe.
None of those things say anything about what do you mean by eternal, what do you mean by able to create a universe. We
Okay,
don't know how the
by
universe was
okay
created.
by eternal, I mean that deity was not created; it has always existed,
So you're
and
talking about an infinite regression.
no, I am not saying that God was
Time
caused by
is
something that
time. So
caused
time.
and so
So
forth.
time.
Timeless. Yeah, he has
If you're
what he
saying
just has always been. He has never been
if you're saying that
created.
God has always existed, you are saying that time has always existed.
That could be a possibility, or eventually that God would be existing in a timeless
You're
dimension.
saying
I
that time
think that
always existing is a possibility,
yeah,
but you were opposed to that possibility the last time I mentioned it. So why is
yeah,
it
but
possible now?
if we are talking about time in this universe, then no, then I would say that evidence shows that
No, no,
the
I was not
time
talking about
time
I was
frame.
not talking about time in this universe. I said that the Big Bang definitely did happen. There is plenty of evidence for it. It is possible that the universe that like the reason behind the Big Bang could have been a thing that happens periodically. That the meta universal time, as you also accept now, may be eternal, may be cyclical. You were
Well, I
opposed to
don't.
it. You were saying it is logically inconsistent, and now you are saying that it is possible.
Well, I am not talking about multiverses. What I am saying is that I am entertaining the idea that there might be higher dimensions where time also exists, where there are subsequent events which imply time.
So let me get this straight. You agree that it is possible that time has existed always.
No, what I am saying that I am entertaining the possibility that there might be other dimensions where things happen also in a sequential fashion, and that therefore then time
Got it.
exists.
No, no, I got that. But you were opposed to this idea last time, and I'm asking what has changed. Why is it inconsistent with logic when I say that time could be eternal? And now that you need to provide a justification for God being eternal, why is it that time now is eternal? It's possible for time to have always existed.
Yeah, I
So
am
what
thinking
I'm
about.
asking for, what is the difference?
Yeah, I am thinking about these possibilities, Vimo. I am not saying that is what I actually believe. What I am saying
No, no,
is
no.
that,
I'm not accusing you of believing it. That's okay. I'm aware that you are contemplating possibilities. I'm saying you said last time it was not possible, and this time you're saying it is possible.
yeah, so I am modifying my position
Okay.
in regards of that issue.
Okay. Thank you. Good. Okay. So great. So let us proceed to where were we? God is eternal, you said.
Yes, I characterize God as eternal.
And then you also said that God is capable of creating universes.
Correct.
How do we know this?
Well, we don't know it with certainty. All we can do is look around us and then try to find the best case adequate explanation of our existence.
Okay. But you are not merely, you are a believer, right?
Yes,
You believe with absolute certainty that God exists,
yes,
but you don't know with absolute certainty that God exists.
correct.
Okay. So do you want to uh, like this is a level of honesty I don't often encounter from people. It is nice of you to admit that you don't know, because a lot of theists, when I speak with them, I find that they will literally not say that they don't know for sure.
Well, I know it for myself. If you ask me if I have some kind of doubt, then I will tell you no, I have no doubt. Quite the contrary. When I started as a believer 38 years ago, of course, I didn't have the body of knowledge and understanding about reality and our world that I have today. So, in that trajectory, could have either come to a conclusion that maybe we can better explain our existence without God, or eventually come to the conclusion, which I actually hold today, that there are so many features that we can observe in reality, in the physical universe, on Earth, life, and so forth, which are good evidence or indicative that most likely intelligence was necessary to instantiate all these things.
That's a great point. So tell me why you think so.
Well, we have several data points. I can list them quick, and then eventually you can
No,
choose
no,
whatever
let's
you.
go to the fundamental argument itself. It's not about the data. The idea that complexity, like, let me know if I'm getting you right. You're saying that the complexity that is evident in nature can only be explained by intelligence, right?
No, what I'm saying is that we best explain it by an intelligent agent which instantiated these things.
Why though?
Well, I
Why
can
do you
give
think it
you.
is? Why do you think intelligence is the best possible explanation? And why do you think uh, every other explanation offered by every other religion or even irreligious people is less than the explanation that you're talking about?
Yeah, I am not jumping to a religion. I am jumping just to the proposition that intelligence most likely was involved in creating, for example, life.
uh, when we started this conversation, you said that intelligence was, were you saying this? Intelligence was necessary for the creation of the universe?
Yes, I believe intelligence is necessary to actually start creating something, to will
So there is a
something into
little bit of
being.
a, there is a little bit of an inconsistency here, and I hope you don't mind me pointing it out. When you say intelligence is necessary to create the universe, and then you say intelligence is the best possible explanation for the creation of the universe, don't you think there is an inconsistency?
Yeah, I can just stick to the best explanation.
Okay, so
Maybe I
necessary one is out.
interchange it. Maybe I interchange it, but you're correct in pointing out that. Um,
Yeah. So intelligence being necessary is out. Intelligence being the best possible
yeah,
explanation
we can
is
stick
there
to
on the
that.
table.
Yes, we can
Okay.
stick to that. So,
Right. So
um, so I make 8 bullet points. Let's say one is the origin of the universe. Most likely, the universe had a beginning, therefore a cause. The universe is governed by laws of physics that demands a lawgiver. The universe is finely adjusted or tuned to permit atoms and stars, planets, and in the end, life that requires a fine tuner. Um,
okay,
uh,
hold on. There are already five of them. Let's go through one of it, one by one. The first one is what? Could you repeat it?
the universe most likely had a beginning, therefore a cause.
Okay. Uh, for the sake of this argument, I will grant that it is possible that the universe had a beginning. Like, and we are already breaking away from the thing that we talked about a minute ago, where we both acknowledged that it is possible that time is eternal, right?
Right, but time per se is not a causal agent. It is just something which permits
If time is
things to
eternal,
change, right?
if time is eternal, then a number of things could have happened in addition to the intelligent agent that you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
It is
but I
quite
think the
possible
key
that
point is
every
let's
possibility is real because time is eternal, including intelligent creator, by the way, right?
yes,
Maybe
yes, of
because,
course.
right. So let us grant that the universe had a cause. How do you go from a cause to an intelligent agent?
You have basically three options, Vimo. One is that there was an eternal regress, which I think is not possible. That means that
Again, no,
something
no, no.
created.
So the infinite regress not being possible option is out, I think. We talked about, you and I both agreed that time is eternal.
Well, I think you are conflating things here. One thing is time being eternal. Another thing is that there were eternal cause and effects which did not have a beginning.
Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that, Otangelo?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am thinking now that if we actually imply that time can be eternal, then you also can have eternal and infinite regress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
saying
this is
ki
something. So this is something.
as far as time is concerned, your position can either be it is impossible for infinite regress to happen, or it can be that it is not impossible for infinite regress
Right.
to happen. In either case, we don't know what the case is. But if it is possible for infinite regress to happen, then the thing that you mentioned, that infinite regress is not possible, both of these things can't be on the table at the same time.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. If you say that time had no beginning and was eternal, then that implies that infinite regress also would be possible. And that is something which I still have to think about if that
Okay.
is plausible.
Do you want to move on to the next one in that case?
The next one would be that the universe behaves law-like. That is, it is stable. Um, there are things like the fundamental forces which are secured. They are not oscillating. Um, these laws, they instantiate the laws of physics. These are mathematical formulas where you need to put certain numbers which are um, discovered, and these are life permitting. That demands an explanation. They are not grounded in anything deeper. And these numbers could be different numbers in these equations. If they would be different numbers, then we would not be here having this conversation. And that is basically the point. Laws
So,
require a lawgiver.
no, no. So, there are two kinds of laws, right? Prescriptive laws and descriptive laws. Do you know the difference?
Yes, we describe what we discover, but the question is, are these laws that we discover also prescribed? And that is precisely the point. You have some
To assume
fundamental.
to assume that they are prescribed presupposes the conclusion. You are trying to prove that God exists. Before you have proven that God exists, your argument cannot rest on the uh, basis of the assumption that these laws are
Right.
prescribed,
Yes,
right? So
prescription. That is
first,
the conclusion of the argument. I agree
yeah,
with you here.
I don't think you
So
can't. I don't think
so
you can
I
start
start
with
with
prescribed.
Right. So I start, yeah, I'll try to explain to you. I start with the premise that the laws of physics, these are mathematical laws and formulas, and science has discovered that in order for these equations to work, you need to insert certain numbers. These numbers, they are not uh, defined somehow. You can put any kind of number in these equations. Now, if you put different numbers in these equations, you don't have the universe as we have it. So the question is, why are the numbers in these equations precisely the way they are in order to permit a life permitting universe? And
But again, we are kind of like, you are a life form and I am a life form, and we are looking at the universe and we are finding that the universe suits us. I don't think from that we can go to the conclusion that the universe was made for us. I find myself in, uh, like, how do I give? there is an example given by Douglas Adams. A puddle of water
Yeah,
becomes
I know the
sentient.
argument. You don't.
You
Yeah,
know,
the
right?
puddle argument. The problem
Yeah.
with this is,
So let me give
um,
the argument so that people in the chat can understand what I'm saying.
yeah,
Douglas
okay,
Adams का argument था, the argument by Douglas Adams was that a puddle of water becomes sentient and looks at itself and thinks, wow, this puddle, this hole that I am in, fits my body perfectly. Clearly, it was made for me. So, similarly, when a human being looks at the universe and says, hey, this universe suits me perfectly, clearly it was made for me. That same fallacy is happening. The human being has found himself or herself or themselves in a universe, and they are thinking out of perhaps a sense of self importance that uh, the universe was made for them. But maybe that is not the case. A more likely answer seems to be that we are kind of full of ourselves and we think that we are so important that the entire universe, this galaxies, stars, everything was made for us. Right. Go on, Otangelo.
yeah. In order for you to have this puddle, you need to have the right expansion rate of the Big Bang. If you don't have that, you don't have any universe whatsoever, and you don't have your puddle. You need
No,
the
but the
right for
point
fundamental.
the point remains, right? The point remains that the puddle is here. I don't know where it came from, and I find myself in it. Should I naturally conclude that I was the goal of this?
Yeah. So I will ask you something related to this. If you see someone playing 200 times the lottery, the state lottery of India,
Hmm,
and that person wins every time in a
hmm,
sequence,
hmm.
and you have two options to explain why that happened. One is that someone cheated, and the other that this person had pure luck. Which of the two options do you think explains the best way that this person won 200 times in a row the lottery?
A person winning a lottery 200 times in a row is something that is very unlikely, and therefore the argument is that I will come to the conclusion that someone cheated because I have seen lotteries being run in the past. I know that this does not happen, and therefore I will conclude through my because of my frame of reference that this is extremely unlikely, right?
Exactly. And
So
now
my
you
point
you
is
make
this: we
and
don't
now
have a
this
frame of we don't have a frame of reference for the creation of the universe. I have a
yes we
frame of
actually
reference for lottery.
Yes, we actually do, because that is what physics do. They actually try to figure out precisely what the likely or unlikeliness is of all the physical parameters to exist the way they are. And they put this into numbers, and they say the odds of the cosmological
Otangelo,
constant.
we don't know the odds of a universe being created because we don't know anything about the creation of the universe. We know about how physics and things work within this universe, but the event that created the universe is not in any of our books. So we don't know how big a playing field there is, how many times the lottery was played out. We don't know how many times the dice was rolled. We do know that we are here right now. We don't know why or how, and therefore what kind of conclusions can we possibly reach about how likely it was. I have a frame of reference for lotteries. We have zero frame of reference for a creation of a universe.
The reference is Vimoh
If we
that
had
there
seen
are.
10 universes being created and 5 or 3 of them we know that a creator made, an intelligent creator made, I would say it is likely that this one was also made by an intelligent creator because I would have a frame of reference. But we have no frame of reference. We have no
Okay, I will
knowledge,
give
no
you.
information about it.
Okay, I will give you an example here. The neutron has to be slightly heavier in mass than the proton. If that would not be so, we would not have stable atoms and there would be no life. That is just one of hundreds and hundreds of different fine tuned parameters. Now, is it possible that the proton could be lighter than the neutron could be lighter than the proton? Yes, because it depends on the composition of quarks. So you have basically an infinite number of possibilities to have neutrons with different masses that then would not combine with the proton and electron to have a stable atom. So you have an infinite number of possibilities, but you have just a very short or small range where it is possible to have a stable atom. That is
You
just
are
one
again,
fine-tuned
again, you're
parameter.
discussing, you're talking about the creation of the universe. Neutrons and protons did not exist then. Atoms did not exist. All
Well,
that happened much later.
yeah,
We have no knowledge about how the universe came into being. We have no knowledge about whether time is eternal or not. If time is eternal and we are looking at an infinitely large playing field, it is entirely possible that a creation of the universe is extremely likely. We have no information to deny that. We have no information to claim either way. You are claiming that it is extremely unlikely and therefore only an intelligence could have done it. I am saying I have no fucking clue. Sorry about the language. I'm saying I have no idea. In
well,
a
the
in
thing
a
is,
in a
if
vacuum
we
like
go back
this,
to the Big Bang, Vimoh, then yes, we know what the numbers are. We know that we need the right expansion rate. If it is too slow, it would recollapse into the singularity. If it would be too fast, then we would have a universe void of atoms
Otangelo,
and
this is a
just
repetition
empty
of the it's a
space.
repetition of the same argument. I don't want to give the same answer for the fourth time. But we know what we know about the universe. We don't know about the conditions under which the universe began, under which the Big Bang happened. Therefore, all of this
Yeah,
is
I
conjecture.
disagree with you because we know that the necessary expansion rate. Physicists do just that, and there are about 8 parameters which we know the precise numbers. So I
I got
disagree with
that.
you
I
here.
got that. I got that. You are talking about a thing that seems to us as extremely unlikely because we have not we don't have access to the to an infinitely wide range of possibilities where such things happen on a fairly regular basis, but we don't know anything about where the universe came from. It is entire, like if you're looking at something that you have
We are
seen
not
only
talking
once.
about where the universe came from. You are mixing things now. Pay attention. What we are talking about here is about fine tuning. Okay, so let's suppose that you have.
Fine tuning is a claim that you are
No, that's
making
not a
because
no. That's
it
not a
is,
claim.
you are
No.
claiming that the universe is fine tuned. You are defining the universe as fine tuned because it seems to us, it seems to you from your point of view, that this universe is an extremely unlikely occurrence. I'm saying we don't know anything about the beginning of the universe. Therefore, this creation of this, the beginning of the universe, may have been an extremely likely occurrence, right?
Okay, so
We
let
only have
me
one.
let me
If
quote
you
you here. Let me quote you here, Stephen Hawking. He says in the Grand Design from 2012, I quote here: "The laws of nature form a system that is extremely fine-tuned, and very little can be altered without destroying the possibility of the development of life as we know it. Were it not for a series of startling coincidences in the precise details of physical law, it seems, humans and similar life forms would never have come into being. Our universe and its laws appear to have a design that is both tailor made to support us and, if we are to exist, leaves little room for alteration. That is
was
not
Stephen
easy to
Hawking
explain.
was
Yes,
Stephen Hawking was Stephen Hawking a theist, Otangelo?
that doesn't matter in regards of what I am saying.
It
He
does. It does.
confirms. No, listen.
If
He
you are,
confirms what I
if
am
you are
saying.
presenting in,
That the
listen,
the
listen,
only
listen, listen,
issue
listen.
here is that the universe is
Otangelo,
fine
please listen.
tuned, and
Please
I
listen.
am
I
backing
will
that up.
mute you otherwise. Please listen. You are taking information and quotations from a scientist who made a certain argument. But the scientist did not reach the same conclusion as you,
That
which is
doesn't
that the
matter.
universe was. I'm not saying it matters. I'm asking you to consider
That's
something
what
else.
you are
Listen,
saying. No.
listen before you come to any conclusions. I'm saying that the same data is available to you, me, a scientist. A scientist is obviously more qualified to comment on it. I'm not a physicist. I'm pretty sure you are not a physicist either. Or are you?
No.
Right. So you are looking at the data that was processed by a scientist, Stephen Hawking, and he wrote something in a book. Now, I know for a fact that he did not believe in God his entire life. I know for a fact that in this very book, he has said that, and I may be like paraphrasing a little bit, he said that if gravity exists, then universes will pop into existence. Or some version of this, he has said. He may have expressed something in a certain way, but he did not reach the conclusions that you have reached. Should you at least not consider why that is?
First of all, you said previously that we don't know if the universe is fine-tuned. I gave you a quote from one of the most well-known scientists, which is
Atheists,
Stephen Hawking. So he
atheist
confirms
scientist.
actually, so he confirms actually what I said, that the universe is finely tuned. I have many other quotes. This is a fact. The
The
question
universe
is, the
appears to be
question is,
fine
no,
tuned.
let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. So the
No, you're
question
you're
is,
shoving words into places where they don't belong. I told you that from our perspective, the universe might look fine tuned, just as the puddle might look fine tuned to to the water that has become sentient. However, that says nothing about the greater universe, or if there is a greater universe out there.
we are talking about this universe which we have to observe. That's the first point. Secondly, we have scientific evidence which is unquestionable that the universe indeed is finely adjusted to
Appears to be.
host life. No,
Appears
it
to be.
doesn't. No, that is a scientific fact. I can give you
we
many other
in light
quotes
of the fact
which
in light of the fact that we don't know how the big bang happened, we will have to say that the universe appears to be fine tuned. However, we don't know what else is out there and what forces could have created something like this. There are also scientists who say that there is a multiverse. Why are you not quoting them? Because it does not suit what you want to prove, right?
the multiverse is a hypothesis which is unproven. You can replace God with with the multiverse if you like.
I
I have no
agree.
problem
I
with
agree.
that.
I'm not saying the
It is
multiverse is
just
something I
it
believe in.
is
I'm
just
saying
a
you
hypothesis.
are you are quoting one scientist about a thing, a
Oh, I have
scientist who
many other
happens to be an
quotes.
atheist, by the way. You're a
Hmm, Can
scientist who
you
happens
put
to be an atheist, by the way.
can you put the link here in the side chat so anyone can access it?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I, in fact, we are at 30-minute mark and I have
Okay.
other callers waiting, Otangelo. So do you want to
Okay.
come back sometime and continue the talk?
All right.
Great.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.